Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting. I appreciate you being here at the channel today. And for those of you that have not yet done so, please hit that subscribe button. And if you find the information provided beneficial to you, please hit that like button as well. Now, our topic for you today, it's 10 reasons you should have a business plan for your gym. Now, certainly, most new operations, brand new gym startups have a business plan. We help a lot of folks on a collaborative basis, prepare business plans for new operations. And we'll talk about some of the reasons that we do this and the reason it's important. But the other thing I want to comment on here as well is that if you're an existing operation, do you have a current business plan? Okay. If you don't, I want to suggest that you put one together. In many ways, your business plan is your plan of action. And I'll talk about some different ways here that this can really benefit you, long term in your project. So, 10 reasons you should have a business plan, for your gym. So, number one, it's to attract investors. Okay. And, if you want folks to invest in your business, in your operation, they're going to want to see you've done the work, and they're going to want to see, how's this going to happen? How's this going to, in a sense, kind of manifest itself into what you think it can be? The other thing that I would talk about is for you folks that are actually in business right now, you always want to be looking for money. Whether you need it or you don't need it right now, you never know what's around that next corner. So you're always looking, for investors and for folks that might want to participate in your business. So the first reason is we want to be able to attract investment dollars, and every single one of them, first thing you're going to do, let me see your business plan. Number two, why do you want to have this business plan? You want to see if your business ideas will work. Because, part of what we're doing here is you're going through the entire process here. You're getting a sense of, hey, will this work or will this not work? You might even get a sense of, if you're new at this, is this something I really want to do? Do I want to put this kind of time and effort into this? And then certainly as you're looking at the numbers, what's it going to take, to get the kind of return that I want? So, the reason you have this business plan is, really to the extent that you can, some validation that this will work or it will not work. Number three is, you want to outline each area of the business. So what your business plan is going to, essentially require you to do is, okay, here's going to be sales, here's marketing, here's what the risk factors are, here's what operations are going to look like, here's how we're going to mitigate risk. And so it's going to outline everything, and you're going to have to address that. And I know one of the things that I always try to do when we're helping new clients, on that collaborative basis, prepare that business plan, is really what I want to do is give what I would call a Harvard level education on this, so that when you're talking to an investor, you're talking to a landlord, you're talking to a bank, not only do you have the information here of here's how we're going to do it, but you also understand the why you're going to do it, and then how you can pivot. Because one of the things that I see frequently is the people that are the very best at this, and they're really good at plan B, okay? So we have our strategies, but then we have alternate things in case those strategies don't work out exactly like we hope. Number four is we want to set up milestones. On a plan of action, I would call it checkpoints. We want to have certain milestones, things that we want to have accomplished, by a certain date or a certain time or a certain period, on the calendar. And so this business plan is really going to force us to do that. And one of the great things about creating urgency, because we like to create urgency, calls to action, I think, in most things that we do, and setting deadlines can help us do that. And these milestones will be part of that effort for you. Okay. Number five, why do you do a business plan? You want to learn about your market. Okay. You want to learn about your market, and part of learning about your market, okay, is what you hear me talk about quite a bit is differentiation. What are we going to be able to bring to this market that's not currently being done? What is not currently being provided in the marketplace? And so if we're going to write this business plan, we want to learn about our market, we're going to have to look at our competition. What are they doing? What are they not doing? What do they do well? What do they do poor? Where can I step in there and offer something different? The other thing about the market is what you usually will find when you start to research this is everyone's kind of going after the same customer a little bit, okay? And you start looking at that uncontested market space, other opportunities. So it's going to put you in a position to do this, and this becomes your working document if you're an existing club operator. And if you're new, of course, this is going to be the information you're going to need to make sure you get off to a successful start. Number 6, why do we want this business plan? To secure additional funding or loans. Okay, and not a whole lot different maybe than attracting investors, but you want additional funding or loans. You're going to go to banks or other financial institutions. They are going to want to see your business plan. They're going to want to understand it. They're going to have questions. And one of the things that I found to be true almost universally is whenever this business plan is presented, that lender is going to say, well, can you make this change? Can we do it like this? Because they're going to want to do some things maybe, that help make them more comfortable in wanting to fund you some money. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we're always looking, for money. We're always looking, where is it available? Okay, you never know when you're going to need it. That's another great reason to have this business plan current, fresh, and ready to go. Okay. Number 7, the business plan, the pro forma budget part of this, it's going to help you determine your financial needs. And so in that pro forma budget, kind of in short, we're going to figure the expenses first, right? And normally those expenses are pretty static and not always difficult to look at. But then we start looking at revenues and saying, okay, well, how much money, do we want to make? What kind of return do we want? And how is this going to look? And so we can start to look at that, and then we start looking at, okay, what's our cost going to be? We've got, finish out dollars in the building. We've got equipment cost. We've got ramp up to profitability. How's this whole thing going to look? How much money, am I going to need? Okay, and quite frankly, some folks get really creative on it, and they can get those numbers down quite a bit. And then there's others that they're going to pay, $200 a foot, to finish it out. Others might be closer to $35. So, this can vary, a fair amount as you go through this. Number 8, the reason you want to have this is you want to be able to attract top-level people. This is a great tool. Of course, in the beginning stages, you want this to attract folks. But if you have an existing facility, and you're trying to convince them to come on board with you, talk about your business plan, talk about your vision, talk about what you're trying to do. Be able to show it to them that, hey, we've written this down. This isn't just something we've thought up and, scratched it on a piece of paper. Here's what we're trying to accomplish. This can be a great recruiting tool for you. Number 9, reason to have a business plan is you can monitor your business. Okay, and this is the way you keep track. To me, okay, the business plan, this is almost like your daily worksheet. You're working on key components of this business plan every single day, and you're monitoring how you're doing, because you're going to have all these key things, all these things we're trying to accomplish, and if you're working on it every day, if it's front and center, top of mind, you're going to be able to do this. So you're going to use it to monitor your business, but use it as your daily worksheet. Just like a salesperson might use a daily productivity report. And then number 10, the reason we have a business plan, whether it's brand new or whether you're an existing operator, is so you can devise contingency plans. As I mentioned before, one of the things that I see to be true is that the people that are the best at this, they're great at plan B. They're great at making that pivot, when they need to. And one of the things that I like to do when we put this together, I have a tendency, I call them roadblocks and setbacks. Okay, we can call it a contingency plan. In a business plan, in a plan of action, I'll call it a roadblock and setback. And we know we're going to have them. So what might they be? You might get if it's the wintertime, you might get an ice storm that blows in. You might get a hurricane if you're on the coast somewhere. You might have loss of key personnel. Maybe even a new competitor comes in. Sales manager, loses their voice and can't sell for a while. These are all potential roadblocks and setbacks. How do you mitigate this? How do you handle that? You might have a downturn in the economy. How are we going to handle that? Okay, and so we're going to use this business plan to help devise contingency plans. So 10 reasons that you should have a business plan. If you don't have one, I really want to suggest you sit down and start thinking about that. This is going to make a big difference for you. You know, one other thing I would mention to you on this is when you start to write this down, you start to prepare it like this, it really does give you that sense of having control over this. It gives you that sense of having controls over the outcome. And this is very powerful. I know a lot of clubs that I get involved in that are turnaround operations, you know, they don't have the business plan. They don't have the plan of action. They're simply kind of handling what's coming at them. They're, in ways, they're kind of become that victim of circumstance. So really encourage doing this. Take a look at these things. Maybe you can kind of do it, you know, piece by piece if it seems a bit much right now. But if you've got one you're working on right now, you know, let's finish it up and let's put that thing together. So, folks, my name's Jim Thomas. My company's Fitness Management and Consulting. Appreciate you being here at the channel today. If you found the information beneficial, please hit that like button. We'll talk to you all soon.